Okay, so the first policy proposal you had to look at was a price ceiling. Now, the purpose of a price ceiling, well, what is a price ceiling? It's a maximum legislated price. So a price above which it's illegal to buy or sell a product. In this case, it would be properties of various kinds. So a government could impose a price ceiling on housing. Obviously, the price ceiling would be different for different houses, depending on whether it's a 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom and so on and so forth. But the general idea is that there would be a cap on prices. Now, if that cap were set below the current equilibrium price, it would certainly cause a shortage, and we'll look at that in a second. But the government doesn't necessarily have to do that. They could set a price, a maximum price, some point just above the current equilibrium price, and then have that cap pegged, for example, to the inflation rate, so that prices would be legislated to increase no faster than the general level of prices in the economy, for example. What would be the point of doing that? The point would be to try and break the price expectation on the part of speculative investors, so that they would no longer be purchasing a property in anticipation of being able to sell it in 3 to 5 years at a 10% profit or a 15% profit. So this would no longer make this kind of speculative investment behaviour attractive in that case. All right. Now, there is obviously a problem with this. It's entirely possible that if it were the case that nonetheless the quote-unquote natural increase in the demand for properties grew faster than the price cap, then the price cap would generate a shortage in the marketplace. But let's look at just a graphical expression of this idea of the price ceiling. So let's use the demand-supply model to see how this would work. If, let's say, we've got our equilibrium here, and that, let's say, that's the result of a process of price speculation. So this is a bubble price, and the government were to impose a price ceiling below that equilibrium, then the quantity supplied to the market would shrink from Q1 to Q2, but the quantity demanded would expand from Q1 to Q3. So we would have a shortage in the market. Now, we wouldn't want that, so instead you could have a price ceiling that's set at P3. At this price there would not be a shortage generated, but it would signal to speculative investors that the price they could get for their product, for their property, would no longer be up here somewhere. It would only reach P3. As long as that cap is lower than the price that they anticipate that they would be getting for the property, the price they speculate they would be getting, then there's no incentive to engage in that, well, less incentive to engage in that speculative behaviour. In which case we might say that speculative investment spending would cease in that case. So demand would no longer continue to rise for speculative reasons anyway. And that might be a way of preventing the bubble from continuing to grow.